Okay, guys, looking at our week, we have 3 days of normal distribution. On Thursday, we're going to do a task together with all of this stat stuff, and then on Friday, you're going to have a quiz about all of this stat stuff. So, normal distribution, we talked about it, we had that short lesson, and then some of us got into the delta math problems from yesterday. Today is this video. With this video, I want to discuss yesterday's delta problems by doing one of them together, and I want to discuss tomorrow's Khan Academy problems by doing one or two of those together as well. That way you're okay with yesterday's problems and tomorrow's, so we can do well on that task and that quiz. Just a quick reminder, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about normal curve. That normal distribution curve, it follows this pattern. If you are one standard deviation away from the mean, whether in the positive or the negative, you're 68%. Then you're 95%, then 98 point something, but you know what I mean. So we have to be a certain amount of standard deviations away, and we cover a percentage of the data underneath the curve. So keeping that in mind, let's get into our delta math problems. This example says, for males in a certain town, the systolic blood pressure is normally distributed with a mean of 135 and a standard deviation of 8. Using the empirical rule, which is just the normal bell curve rule that we're talking about, it says, what percentage of males in the town have a systolic blood pressure between 111 and 159? So with this problem, we have our mean 135, standard deviation of 8. We want to find out how many standard deviations away we are to be in this range. So let's subtract 135 and 111 and then divide it by our standard deviation to see how many we are. With delta math, they have a calculator here in the upper right corner. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to punch in 135 minus 111. Shows up here on the left. I hit enter. Answer shows up here on the right. That's 24. 24 divided by 8. Hopefully we can do, but it gets us 3. So we're 3 standard deviations away. On the negative side of it, let's make sure it's the same on the top. So I'm going to do 159 minus 135. That's because it was the upper bound subtracted by the mean. I hit enter. I get 24 again. So I know I'm 3 standard deviations away from both sides. To find that percentage, we could go back to our curve and add all of these up. That's 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35. Or we could go back to our lesson and look at what is the percentage for 3 standard deviations away. And according to this, it's 99.7. So for this delta math, I'm going to write it down as 99.7. Submit. Make sure I hit yes. And look at that, we got it correct. So that's basically the main idea of these delta math problems. Use the mean, find out how many standard deviations away from the mean you are, and then put that percentage down for that problem. Let's see if I can do another one really quick. Let's do one more and then we're going to get to the con. So this one says, for males in a certain town, the systolic blood pressure is normally distributed with a mean of 115 and a standard deviation of 10. So slightly different this time. It says, using the empirical rule, which is just our bell curve, determine the interval of systolic blood pressures that represent the middle 68%. So slightly different. This time we're not given the bounds. We have to find them because we're given the percentage. 68% is 1 standard deviation away. So if I go back to my delta math, I want to be 1 standard deviation away from here. Here's my mean. There's my standard deviation. So I want to add and subtract 10 from my 115. Put the smaller one on the left. 115 minus 10, 105. Put the bigger one on the right. 115 plus 10, 125. Submit. Can McGowan do simple math? He can. Awesome. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. That's your delta math problems. It might take you a bunch of questions, but all you have to do is get 5 of them correct and you're done. 100%. So there's Delta. Let's talk about Khan Academy. Khan Academy is going to start opening up for you probably tomorrow morning around 8. So that's going to be Wednesday at 8. Look for it. That's your work for tomorrow. So this problem says a lifespan of zebras in a particular zoo are normally distributed. Average zebra lives 20.5 years. The standard deviation is 3.9 years. Use the empirical rule, which is just our normal curve, to estimate the probability of a zebra living between 16.6 and 24.4. So let's find our standard deviations away from our mean to this. Standard deviation is 3.9, so let's take our calculator with Khan Academy, and let's go 20.5 minus 16.6. 20.5 minus 16.6. 3.9, hey, look at that. There's our standard deviation. So the lower bound is only one standard deviation away. Let's make sure it's the same for the upper. I have 24.4. And I'm subtracting the mean, which is our 20.5. And that's also 3.9. So we're one standard deviation away from the mean, which means it's our first number there. It's our 68%. Check. Correct. Awesome. Only 3 more to go. I want to do one more, and then I'm leaving it for you guys. Lifespans of gorillas this time. Oh, gorillas. Average gorilla lives 16 years. The standard deviation is 1.7. This time we're looking at 14.3. Oh, it only gives us 1, and it says less than 14.3. So be careful with that. How far away is 14.3 from our mean? So let's subtract it. We take 16 minus 14.3. I get 1.7, which is the standard deviation. So now I have to be less than 1 standard deviation away from the mean. I want to go back to our textbook real quick just to show you, just to remind us what percentages we're looking at there. You can find this in your notes that we did on Monday. But with this, we're 1 standard deviation away. So we're this line down. So we want to add 13.5 plus 2.35 plus 0.15 together, and that's going to get us our percent for the Khan Academy problem. 0.15, 2.35, 13.5. Let's see if I can remember that. We want 0.15 plus 2.35 plus, what was it, 13.5? 16% is what I'm getting. Oh, good, I did it correctly. So there's the 2 different types of questions you're going to get in the Khan Academy assignment tomorrow. There was 2 different types of questions you're going to get from the Delta Math that you should have started yesterday. Hopefully that's all you need. Of course, if you need anything more, email me, let me know, and you'll be all good to go. Thanks so much, guys.